Captain James Reed stood frozen at the entrance to the crystalline throne chamber, his weathered hands gripping the ceremonial gift box containing Earth's finest cultural artifacts. The chamber itself defied physics, with walls that seemed to stretch infinitely upward while somehow remaining intimate and enclosed. Streams of liquid light flowed through transparent channels in the floor, creating a mesmerizing display of colors that had no names in human language. The Cytherian princess before him was unlike anything described in the diplomatic briefings. Her luminescent blue skin seemed to pulse with an inner light, and her four arms moved with graceful precision as she gestured toward him from her floating platform, each limb adorned with crystalline jewelry that chimed softly. "Don't just stare. Come. Closer, human," Princess Vera said, her voice carrying musical undertones that made the translator device in his ear work overtime. Her smile revealed teeth like polished pearls, and her large violet eyes held genuine curiosity, rather than the cold calculation he had expected from galactic royalty. James had spent 3 months traveling through hyperspace to reach the Cytherian homeworld, carrying humanity's desperate plea for membership in the Galactic Federation. The journey had taken him through 7 different star systems, each requiring careful diplomatic negotiations just to pass through their territories. Earth needed protection from the expanding void swarm that had already consumed 12 systems in the outer rim, leaving nothing but empty space and the occasional piece of debris as evidence that entire civilizations had once thrived there. Every species that had petitioned the Cytherians in the past century had been turned away after a brief audience, their ambassadors returning home with tales of cold indifference. The Zephyrians had offered their entire fleet. The Crystalline Collective had presented mathematical proofs of their worthiness. The Trade Federation had arrived with cargo holds full of rare elements. All had been dismissed within minutes. Their advanced civilization, spanning 40 star systems and countless worlds, was notoriously selective about their allies. "Your Highness," James began, taking measured steps across the gleaming floor that seemed to be made of living crystal. "I bring greetings from Earth and the United Human Colonies. We humbly request consideration for—" "Stop with the formalities," Vera interrupted, floating down from her platform until she stood before him. Up close, James could see that her skin contained swirling patterns like miniature galaxies. "I have read your species file. You call yourselves humans, yet your genetic diversity is remarkable for such a young civilization. Tell me something the reports cannot. What makes your people special?" James felt sweat beating on his forehead despite the chamber's perfect temperature. Every other species had sent their most eloquent diplomats, their greatest scholars, their most impressive warriors. Earth had sent a simple starship captain who had earned his rank through grit and determination rather than political connections. "Honestly, Your Highness, I am not sure we are special at all," James replied, setting down the gift box. "We are stubborn, curious, and probably too brave for our own good. When faced with impossible odds, we tend to do impossible things." Vera tilted her head, her expression shifting to one of intrigue. "Elaborate." 3 years ago, a void swarm scout ship attacked our Mars colony," James began, his voice gaining strength as he recalled the events. "Standard protocol would have been to evacuate, but the colonists refused to abandon their home. They had spent 15 years building that settlement, transforming barren red soil into thriving agricultural domes. Instead of fleeing, they used mining equipment to fight back. A 12-year-old girl named Emma figured out how to reverse the polarity on industrial plasma cutters, turning them into makeshift weapons. The colonists held off an entire squadron until our fleet arrived, but not before teaching that child and hundreds of others that sometimes the impossible is just another word for difficult." The princess walked in a slow circle around James, studying him with scientific interest. "The void swarm has consumed species with technology far superior to yours. How did untrained civilians succeed where trained military forces failed?" "Because we do not know when to quit," James said simply. "Every human child learns about the Alamo, about Thermopylae, about the Warsaw Ghetto. We tell stories of people who stood against impossible odds not because they could win, but because standing was the right thing to do." Vera stopped directly in front of him, her forearms crossed in what he hoped was contemplative rather than dismissive posture. The Cytherian Empire has stood for millennia by choosing our battles carefully. We engage only when victory is assured. Your species seems to do the opposite. That is correct, James admitted. We charge into situations that terrify us because someone needs help. We explore black holes to satisfy curiosity, knowing we might never return. We build homes on worlds that actively try to kill us because the challenge excites us. My own grandmother, who lived through 3 wars and 2 plagues, once said that, if something seems impossible, humans will either prove it wrong or die trying. She also said that dying while trying to do good is better than living safely while others suffer. For the first time since entering the chamber, James saw something unexpected in the princess's eyes. Recognition. You mentioned that child, Emma, Vera said softly. What became of her? She is studying xenobiology now, hoping to find ways to communicate with species we have not met yet. James replied, his voice softening with genuine affection. When I asked her why she chose such a difficult field, she said that every alien race must have children too, and children deserve to grow up safe regardless of how many legs they have or what color their blood might be. She wants to be ready to help when we meet species who cannot help themselves. That girl who fought the Void Swarm with mining tools now dreams of healing instead of fighting. Vera was quiet for a long moment, her luminescent skin pulsing in slow, rhythmic patterns. When she spoke again, her voice carried weight that made the crystal walls resonate. Captain Reed, in the past century, 47 species have petitioned the Cytherian Empire for protection. They brought weapons technology, valuable resources, strategic advantages. They offered tribute, service, submission. You bring stories. James felt his heart sink. Your Highness, if stories are insufficient, they are everything, Vera interrupted, her smile returning with radiant warmth. Every dying civilization we have encountered begged for mercy, promised compliance, offered wealth. None spoke of children learning to stand against darkness. None mentioned grandmothers teaching courage. None brought hope. She walked to a wall panel and pressed her palm against its surface. The chamber filled with holographic images, vast fleets, burning worlds, the advancing darkness of the Void Swarm. The Cytherian Empire has protected our territories through careful isolation, Vera continued. We have watched younger species fall because we deemed them unworthy of salvation, but isolation has made us cold, Captain. We have forgotten what it means to stand for something greater than ourselves. The images shifted to show human colonies, families working together, children playing, elderly people teaching young ones. Your species reminds us of who we once were, Vera said, turning back to James. Before we became content with mere survival, we too charged into impossible battles for impossible causes. We have been searching for something worth protecting again. Does this mean? James began. The Cytherian Empire will not merely accept humanity as supplicants, Vera declared, her voice echoing with authority. We propose an alliance, your courage combined with our technology, your hope merged with our wisdom. Together we will teach the galaxy that some lights cannot be extinguished. James felt tears forming in his eyes as the implications sank in. Your Highness, I do not know how to thank you. Teach us to be human again, Vera replied, extending one of her 4 hands toward him. Show us how to stand when falling seems certain. As James grasped her hand, he realized that humanity had not just found salvation. They had found their purpose among the stars.